up, everybody? Welcome to the IAG Thursday Thing. This thing we do every Thursday, even when it fights us like hell. And man, is it fighting us today. We're going to kind of get to it a little quicker. We are joined this week again by Warranty. Warranty, how you doing, bud? How was your Memorial Day?
It was great. I drove to Ohio with Sparkles and I averaged 30 MPGs in the BRZ and stopped at a Bucky's on the way back.
Bucky's, baby. What Bucky's?
That's right. That's right. I got my Bucky's bucket. Check it out, Dewey, for the people on camera.
Let's go.
Bucky's bucket. Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Sir.
Big thanks to producer Jordan for editing all of these and helping us out and doing all the background things we need. I don't know what we'd do without Jordan. You got to see him this last weekend too, didn't you? How's he doing?
I sure did. He's doing good. His back is still in his body, so he's living. I saw his car, I saw his wife, saw a couple of his friends. So yeah, all is well.
And Serapin Wolf's asking if you got beaver nuggets at Bucky's.
I didn't. So I had really good barbecue and then started driving home to the Bucky's. So I was like, I don't want anything unhealthy. Don't want any barbecue pork sandwiches or anything like that. So we kept it kind of healthy.
The best thing to get there, and I will argue with anybody, is their Western style peppered beef jerky. It's like super stiff. Ooh. Like it is the best. It's if you like a tough beef jerky, it is so good.
Mark loves beef jerky, and she thought their beef jerky at Bucky's was mid, and so were some of their other snacks like sour gummy worms. So she's got high standards.
I don't think that relationship's gonna work out. I'm just gonna let you know. Okay. All right. Also, special thanks to Randy. We keep dropping these names and ideas for a thumbnail on him on like the last second, and I'm driving him up the wall, but I appreciate him putting up with us. So thank you, sir. Let's kind of get to it. Got a couple of kind of cool headlines that I want to talk about, and then we'll talk about today's topic. Headline number 1, which I think is amazing. Tarzan Yamada is going to be driving both of the Cusco Imprezas. So the old GC8, the white one, Time Attack Impreza. Actually, I think it was a GT 300 car. And he's going to be driving the Cusco Time Attack car, the Tomei Cusco one. So basically both of the Cusco Subarus that we all used to get geeked out about at World Time Attack this year. And I think that's really cool.
I agree. That is very cool. It's been 15 years, 16 years.
Something like that. I got to meet him and see that car, the blue Cusco Tomei car run at Autobahn when I don't think it was called Global Time Attack. I think it was called Redline at that point. Redline Time Attack was running it, and that was one of their stops on their tour. And I took pictures with him, and and it kills me that I cannot find those pictures to this day. But they were probably taken with the most potato-y potato ever. So,
yeah, it was a different time.
Yep.
But I hope you find it.
I'm gonna have to dig it. So the next thing is Misha, the ring taxi guy, the guy who's constantly taking people's cars on the ring. He dropped into Roger Clark Motorsports and basically gushed all over the original Gobstopper. He got a lot of cool angles and got Ollie Clark talking about it, what it was like to drive it. They looked at the other Gobstoppers there too, but I gotta be real, I'm a little partial to the first one. So was Misha. And one of the big reasons he got into getting on track and doing all this stuff was the same thing that got like a bunch of us on track, including, you know, definitely myself, and why I went with the GC and all of that. You know, like the Gobstopper was huge. So seeing him gush all over that, and knowing that car is still in like pristine condition and looking fantastic was really cool. And Ollie talking about it was really neat. So it was a cool video. You should go check it out. And all 3 have nitrous.
Huh, I did not know that.
Yep, they're big on using spray on track there. They like that giggle juice. So
Nice, good for them. I don't think I've known anybody to use NOS over here in Subarus successfully. Only seen a couple cars burn to the ground, and that was it.
yes. Yeah, I have seen some people use it highly unsuccessfully and then try to play it off like it was a success. I'm not gonna mention any
Yep.
names, but yeah, it ain't the play. But
Yep.
but they also did a lot of stuff with even that engine block that were way ahead of its time. Different types of head gasket sealing. They actually had those like I guess they're kind of like a head gasket pop off valve kind of thing in the block. Did you ever see that
Oh
where like if the
yeah.
head gasket
Yeah.
like the in pressure manages to get around it, it'll actually relieve it out of the top of the block and it'll let them
Yeah.
know.
The that was on the Isle of Man TT car, the time attack car for that like one off that Subaru did. And
Oh,
I
it
thought it
goes
was
further back than
Pro
that. That
Drive.
was a WR, yeah, it was a Pro Drive thing. So it was actually old WRC tech. And
Yeah,
what
where
would
the
happen
head
is
gasket started leaking.
yeah, it would
Yeah, they could measure it.
and they would know what was happening. They'd pull timing specifically for that.
Right.
And
Right.
so they wouldn't completely kill the head gasket. And
Right. Let the head back down and stop leaking, which is
yeah,
unbelievable.
or they
But
retort the heads, between stages and shit, like crazy stuff. It's
God, that's crazy.
yep. I mean,
Yeah.
newer tech and things have happened since then, but I just think that's super sick that
Yeah.
some of the stuff they were doing back in the day was like next level. That's what happens when you
Yep.
have that kind of money shoved into things like that, though, and you're
Yeah.
forced to
It's cool.
be
I don't
be a
know.
part of
I've
that.
seen a lot of money get wasted, so it's not a guarantee. It's cool to see it successful. So I'll add that to my YouTube video list.
So, speaking of lots of money, that's something that nobody has right now. And that's kind of gonna be the segue in today's topic. Um,
Boy.
in this economy, so long story short, and we're all feeling it right now. Gas prices are crazy. I'm sure you were excited to get 30 some miles to the gallon, but you were probably also paying, what's Ohio at right now? Mid fours, maybe almost $5 a
Oh,
gallon for 93.
for premium gas, the highest I saw was about $6,
Oof.
and then I think I was happy if it was at like 5.50.
Okay.
So the Indiana was cheap. I think I was paying like 4.75 for premium gas in Indiana, which was excellent. But I just went out and looked at my local gas station today, and I was happy that the premium gas went down 20 cents to only 6.15 a gallon. So here we are, brave new world.
It's the world we live in right now. Those who deny that affordability isn't a real word, is they're wrong.
Mhm.
Okay, like people
It
are
is.
are struggling.
We got lucky that at least we've had low gas prices for a long time
We
after 2008. We did have a bit of a spike during COVID, but it came back down. I thought it was
it came
astounding that
way
it came like
back down.
yeah, it came way back down. I at the time in early COVID, I think I paid like $1 a gallon for E85, which was just crazy. But
Yep.
yeah, post COVID, we had a long run of cheap gas. And then inflation hit and gas kind of stayed the same. And now we're paying the price for multiple reasons.
Again, we're not trying to make this political, but things have
Yeah.
happened. The world climate is what it is. Gas prices are high, and due to gas prices and oil prices being high, everything has gotten expensive, and
Yes.
that isn't even taking into account tariffs and other stuff that have happened also and like have raised the
Right.
price on things, and like inflation is just a real thing, and it's been happening post COVID for a lot of reasons. And again, we're not getting into that, but what I can say is it's not cheap out there right now. Okay, people ain't running around with money falling out of their pockets. I understand this. Okay, and this is, we want to chat about things you can do when you're trying to pinch pennies and kind of get by. The reality of it is some people take different approaches, but the majority of us aren't going to stop living, but we are going to have to rethink what we want to do a little bit. So I'm going to
Mm.
just throw some ideas out there of things you can do. Okay. And then things you shouldn't do. And then we can chat about these a little bit. So,
Yeah.
things you can do, I'm going to start with a pretty easy one, is instead of modifying, okay, do some maintenance. And when I say maintenance, like go through your car instead of throwing a bunch of parts at it or maybe going racing or going nuts, but you want to scratch that car itch. When's the last time you've been under your car and looked for a leak? When's the
Yeah.
last time you shook suspension pieces? When's the last time you put wrenches on stuff? Especially if you beat the crap out of your car, you should be doing this anyway. But if you can't afford to take it to a shop right now and have somebody stick the thing in the air and while they do the oil change, they're going to poke around at things, do your own damn oil change and poke around at some shit yourself.
Yeah, honestly, this is great advice. You know why? Because you, in your racing program, have made a lot out of very little, especially in the beginning. And that was because you had to and you had no other option. So here we are, kind of forcing people to do the same because everything's expensive, especially gas. Now is a perfect time to learn these things.
When you are poor, okay, but you want to do things, you you you're going to find ways to do these things, whatever they may be. Whether they're smart or not, you're gonna find a way to get it done. And one of the best
Yep.
ways you can get some of this stuff done is start, and this is going into one of my next ones, is learning new skills. Okay. You're gonna have to be willing to try to do things. Now, we live in a world right now that if you want to learn anything, you can go to YouTube. I
Yeah.
mean, anything. And the last
Yep.
time everything tanked, okay, was like 2008 and rolling into the last financial crisis. And I'm not saying we're anywhere near that, but a lot of these sources didn't exist. It's one of the reasons, one of the big reasons Nasiak exploded and got fairly huge right in that time frame, kind of before it fell on its face. Um, because there were a ton of people going there because they were trying to learn things to do it themselves. Well, all that stuff for the most part is on YouTube. No, it might not be your exact car. You might have to, watch a few different things to get the idea of how the thing actually functions. It might not be a, you know, exact word for word idea or picture of what you are trying to do. Okay. Like let's say you're installing a surge tank in the back of your car. You decided, you're going to try to attempt this versus taking it to a shop. Um, you may find surge tank installs in a bunch of different types of vehicles, maybe not a Subaru specifically, but a lot of that stuff will still come into play. What they used to mount it, what type of lines did they use, things to look
Yep.
out for. All of that stuff is real. So that's a huge one. And also falling under learn a new skill is learn to do your own timing belt. You know, like if you're getting up near timing belt
Interesting.
time, it's not as it's a lot cheaper to buy a couple of tools from Company 23 and be able to do not only your timing belt, learn how to do it on your car, but you and your buddies can all learn together. Okay. We used to do install
Hmm.
parties at our buddies' garages where we'd all bring parts and stuff that we had that we wanted to install, and all of us would collectively fuck it up together. But we would do it as a group and it was mostly right, and I gotta be real, like we all learned a lot. And some people have done certain things and other people have done other things, and you have varying levels of who knows what and who has what tools, but if you all show up at the same spot, you'd be surprised collectively what you can accomplish.
Yeah, you share the knowledge. Yeah.
Yep.
Man, I'm surprised. Doing your own timing belt, if you mess that up, you don't have a car that runs or you
Mhm.
got to buy a motor. So, man,
It's
I'm
it's I'm not gonna lie. If it's some of this is a little on the dangerous side, but like a timing belt again isn't that hard to do if you follow the directions and understand what you're doing. And there's plenty of documentation out there on
yeah.
how to do it. Um, Learn to do your own timing belt if you can't afford it. Okay. If you can't afford it, you can take it to a shop by all means. But things like this can save you immense amounts of money. Um, to reallocate funds into other things. So
Yep. Comment in the chat. We love DIYers. We charge them extra to fix their problems. I'll say.
yes,
And yeah, totally agree. It's stimulating the economy. You save yourself some money, and if you don't, you're making somebody else's day.
but
So
one of the things you're gaining from people starting to try to do things themselves and maybe start learning is a much more educated enthusiast. Okay.
yes,
And
to which can only help you, right?
it helps the entire community. The more educated the community gets, the less really stupid shit happens, and the less people are making dumb memes about head gaskets and things like that. Or if shit does hit the fan, let's say you're a shop, okay, and shit does hit the fan, it's blatantly obvious whatever the reason is for shit hitting the fan. Some pissed off customer is mad about something that's blatantly something they did. If you have a group of educated enthusiasts, more than likely they're going to call this person out for just not being smart versus being mad at a shop for something they had no control over. I'm bringing this up because like I can't tell you how many times weird stuff would happen in the Chicago area, and we actually had a fairly educated enthusiast group in the area that you'd get a few people would just like bandwagon on whatever was said, but for the most part they were pretty level-headed and knew what was going on. So
Yeah. To be fair, in the good times, I've seen a lot of people that focused on the build of the car rather than the driving. And I personally prefer driving. I like a modified car just like anybody else, but you can have a good time in a cheap, slow car because I like driving. And so maybe auto industry's down, off aftermarket industry's down. We won't see as many big builds, but it's a great time to educate yourself. And I agree.
Well, again,
and drive your damn car.
Again, the other thing is, even if you're not even touching your car, okay, but you're popping your hood and you're looking at stuff, I like to call this ask questions and get answers. Okay. So you start looking at things. What is this thing? Okay. What is this, whatever this is? Why is this here? What does it do? Why do I need it? Why did Subaru put this here? Start asking these questions and it's going to start, like, things are going to start going off in your head. Okay. On why under an OEM, especially like an STI and EJ, like the rat's nest of vacuum lines and stuff that are under the intake manifold, understand what those are doing and why they're going places. What are these things? Like, it seems like a boring topic, but once you understand how some of this stuff works, it helps you understand how you will end up going into how does the engine work and how, like, all of this stuff. One question can spark a whole waterfall of things. But
that's a really good point. Because it's pretty complicated when you look at it and you don't know what you're looking at versus, well, now you and I build computers and we know what we're looking at. And if it breaks, we're going to be able to fix it because we know all the pieces.
Even if you have a basic idea of what's going on under your hood, just a basic idea of what a couple of these pieces are, you start to be able to fill in the blanks. Like you can, this strange valve thing, you might not really know what it is, but that air's coming in one side and something else is coming in the other. You can make some sort of assumption as to what this thing is.
Other cheap ideas, I got two for you.
Sure.
We discussed one, autocross. It is cheap.
Autocross is cheap.
Cool.
Autocross is they're local mostly. You don't have to drive too far for them. You can take pretty much any car. So if you're trying to scratch a competition itch and you're trying to do something that isn't going to be really hard on your car, autocross is a great spot. Okay.
Yep.
I bag on autocrossers. Like if you go way deep into autocross and you're trying to be like nationally competitive, that's just racing.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So like
It's
that's
yeah, it's weird.
but if you're going there just to you and your buddies see what kind of times you're gonna run, it's actually cheaper than going go-karting. Like it is cheap.
Really?
It
Dang, I did not know that.
yeah, dude. Like you can do an autocross for a day for like $50.
Oh
Okay.
gosh, geez. Yeah. Plus, some wear and tear on little things like tires, but
Yeah, your
yeah,
tires, but
cars
you're
not
not
that
even
cheap
going to
anymore.
use that much, especially if you're on a 300 plus tread wear tire. It ain't going to be that. It's going to be no worse than what you were going to do on the back road not being there. Okay.
That's true.
So,
Yeah. I've
like,
got a question in the chat
sure.
that argues that autocross is harder on your car. So I think this is referring to like versus a track day.
I
Now,
don't
I
agree
got
with that.
mixed feelings about this because you generate so much heat on track. You burn more gas, you burn more brake pads and tires, and you generate a lot of heat in a short amount of time. And that's what hurts things like you boil your brake fluid, and then you don't no longer have brakes. You don't really have that in autocross. Like you might shake your suspension a little bit more because you're constantly changing directions, but I don't think you would wear your tires nearly as much or your engine for just hitting the rev limiter in second gear once in a minute.
Yeah, especially if you're in a really low gear. So it's really low load.
Yeah.
I got to be real. Like, autocross is actually pretty you might be making some really aggressive movements but
Right.
it's actually pretty easy on your car. I think the only thing easier on your
Mm.
car is ice racing, which is silly
Because
easy
it's
on your
zero
car.
load.
There's
Yeah.
zero
Yeah.
load, you're not going to wear anything. The worst thing you're going to do
Yeah.
is pop your bumper off the clips. Like
Hit a snowbank. Yeah.
it's uh I gotta be honest, like autocross, if you're trying to, again, just scratch that competitive itch, you're gonna have a very, very hard
Yeah.
time not having a good time in an autocross.
You
And
can learn a
I'm
lot
not saying
and
you can't go to an HPD, have a good time, okay, and uh, you maybe limit yourself down the straights or something like that, or out of really hard dig corners. But I got to be real, you're gonna generate more load, more oil's gonna move around. You have a higher chance of doing an engine in. Like you have a higher chance of hurting things, and the consequences go up depending on the track that you're on. And in autocross, you're in a parking lot, and top of second, maybe bottom of third most of the time. And if you screw up at an autocross, you really effed up. Like if you hit something at an
yeah.
autocross, that was a really, really bad course that was built. So
Or it's on you for not stopping.
yeah,
Yeah, and trying to save
I'm
it.
not
That's how I
saying
would go.
it's 0%. It absolutely is
Yeah.
not. But
Yeah.
let's be real, we've all done dumber stuff just driving around on the street. Like I've
Yeah.
taken on
That's fair.
ramps way more sketchy than I have taken autocross courses. So
I've been there. I can vouch for that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Autocross is cheap enough that you should be doing it rather than messing around on back roads if you really wanted to learn something. Yeah, I agree.
um,
What else we got? Oh, okay. If your car isn't modified, you could probably justify for the first time ever in putting a flex fuel kit on it and a tune, and you'll eventually pay for it because E85 is like $2 a gallon, 250 in my area versus $6 and beyond for premium gas.
that
But
is actually a really good point. With it's probably never been cheaper in the grand scheme of things to do
yep,
ethanol. It
yep.
actually makes financial sense at this point.
I do wish that more cars came with flex fuel that were fun cars rather than like Chevy work vans or
Pickup truck
something.
and stuff, yeah.
Or pickup trucks, yeah. Because if I were renting a car from the airport and it had flex fuel, I'm absolutely putting ethanol in right now
Yeah.
because it's fine. I'm not losing all that MPG. I lose a little bit, but I'm saving phenomenal money on the gas.
It's actually surprising. Don't get me wrong, you lose gas mileage with ethanol, but
Yep.
cruising gas mileage isn't as bad as like wide open throttle gas mileage goes right in the toilet. You'll use about
Yeah.
40% more, but cruising gas
Yep.
mileage isn't that much worse.
It's not that bad. Yeah. So alter the goal. Yeah, I've seen so many big builds, man. Okay, so maybe we see less of those, but like a stock STI or BRZ or like a stage 2 STI
Yep.
or BRZ is so much fun. Just
That
do that.
that was another one that I was going to bring up is kind of alter the goal or rethink done. Okay.
Yeah.
There may be depending on what your goal is, what you're trying to do. Like if your build was a
Yep.
900 horsepower car, maybe we start talking about a 600 horsepower car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe we rethink what we're trying to do with a car. Or, and this is something I've said a million times. It, unlimited time attack is crazy expensive because the box is so big. Okay.
Yep.
One of the nice things about Street Mod is there is a box, but when you're just building a car for whatever and it's just wide open, you have no box. So shit starts getting out of control and scope creep becomes a really serious issue.
Yeah.
If you give yourself some sort of box, build it for a class versus whatever, build it to accomplish a particular mission, whatever that may be. Build it, if you kind of tweak what your goals are a little bit and build it towards something slightly different, you will be surprised at how much you can save yourself just because there is a ceiling now. If you're
Right.
building without a ceiling, it's going to be real hard to control what you're trying to do and fill that sandbox.
Right. And let's say the mod you want to do is $500 and you don't do it, that's 100 gallons of gas that you can go use to drive your car.
Mm-hmm.
You can do quite a bit of damage or quite a bit of enjoyment with 100 gallons of gas.
Or, I mean, if that's 100 gallons of gas, you could, if you rethink what you're trying to build the car for, let's say you aren't building a street modified car, you're building a street car. So now we're not talking giant rotated kit and all sorts of aero and all this stuff. You can go to the track more. You can afford to go to more events.
Yeah.
Okay. And that, like, I love street mod, don't get me wrong, but it's one of those situations, you know. You can
I'll tell you what, my favorite part about driving the BRZ is it's only 30 something $1,000. I could afford a better car, but I don't want to pay it. And I didn't want to pay it even when the interest rates were low. But now I'm really happy that all I have to do is put gas in the car and pay for insurance, and the car's already paid off. But point is, many people buy cars that are more expensive. You don't have to do that. You should come down to a Subaru. It's a great car at any price, and it's a good price.
got a couple more here. Okay.
Yeah.
This is something that we used to do in the community all the time, and I'm surprised more people don't do it. Okay. But trading things within the community,
yeah,
it works really well. Like, especially if you got like a GD chassis. It like something stupid like trading trunks so you can get a different wing totally changes the vibe of the car. Okay. Trading wheels. Like trading parts, you would be surprised how much that changes up things. And you know, as a community kind of work, there used to be this trunk trade thread on Nasiok that was just flaming hot. Where Serapin Wolf is talking about swap meets, and I'm about to get into that. So going into trading stuff, meets, and a swap meet's a great one. Okay. You can go there and basically bring all your old shit, trade shit for other shit. Other people can talk about, you know, it's working on the community and finding other ways to get the stuff that you're trying to get. Yep. I think it's a great idea. You start making connections you never thought you could. Who knows? Maybe something works out and you end up finding some hookup that'll, you know, the part you need, you end up getting at half the price, and that opens up all sorts of other options for you, you know?
Yep.
So
yeah, that's a really good point. Now's the time to go to car meets.
Oh, there's never been a better time. Car meets are cheap, if not free, most of the time, you know? And then you have things like Wicked Big Meat, which is coming up here real soon. By the way, Boogie's going to be at Wicked Big Meat. I'll be at Wicked Big Meat. It's going to be sweet. Yep. Going to Wicked Big Meat. So if anybody come say hi, do the thing, it's going to be a good time. But yeah, it costs a little bit to get into that, but it's not that expensive. And some of the deals there are ridiculous. Let me put it this way. I can't really say exactly what it'd be, but if you have intentions of buying an engine, if you were anywhere in that region, and if you had any intentions of buying a short block in the next 6 months, okay, it would be worth it to you to pay to get into that meet just for the deal you're going to get on the short block.
Yep. Yep. And then have Dewey carry it to your car at the back end of the parking lot a
Oh
mile
my, I
away.
swear to God, if they don't have me a wagon to pull it out there this time, I'm going to die. That was so rough. I'm telling you, that was a solid like mile of carrying a short block on my shoulder. Like I haven't done that shit since Marine Corps boot camp. Like never again.
Dang. Yeah.
um, Dewey, you can install it instead. No, no. Um, so yeah,
See what we got.
that's again solid option. Another cheap thing, and this kind of falls under new skill. Go do a photo shoot with your car. Like you're
Oh, that's a great idea.
so
Yeah.
good now.
Yeah.
And
Oh man.
you have a camera, and if you probably know somebody with an actual nice camera, you and the homies get together, go do a photo shoot. It's dirt cheap.
Yep.
All you need to do is find an interesting spot to park a car with some fun lighting. Photo
Yeah,
shoots,
that's a great idea.
and then you make some memories. You become Instagram famous. It's great. You know, everybody wins.
Yep.
Photo shoots, baby. Another one. Racing's expensive, all right? But you know what's not expensive? Volunteering to help somebody else race. If you can't,
Yes.
but you want to be a part of it still, volunteer.
Yes. I can vouch for that. I've volunteered so much and I enjoyed every minute of it. Oh boy.
You can
So much fun. I recommend it.
And especially if you're trying to
Yep.
get into this hobby, if you're new and trying to get into it, this is the best way to start because you learn a lot
Yes.
about how things work, what stuff actually costs, ways you want to go about things differently, all of this. But I can tell you, there are so many programs, you know, and I was that
Yeah.
guy for the longest time who needed anybody, any help. Anything, please, just somebody to check my tire pressures. Thankfully, I have decent help now, but there are lots of people out there who could use help. And if you're just in the area, more than likely, if you were to go into the Grid Life Track Battle Facebook group and just go, hey, you know, I'm new at this. I want to volunteer to help somebody for the weekend. You're going to get in. They're going to get you a crew pass, at least cheap, if not free. They're probably going to feed you. You're going to work your ass off that weekend, but you're going to learn a ton. You're going to learn a ton, and you're going to meet a bunch of cool people. And that's just Grid Life, okay? NASA's always got stuff going on. SCCA's always got stuff going on. You know, they're race teams that need help, okay? And you might not get paid, but you might also not have to pay anything, and you get to be a part of it. I can't stress it enough. Volunteer.
Dewey, there was a story years ago on Reddit. People should look it up. I think it was a woman who started sailboat racing in her 30s. Like she was looking for a hobby. Okay. And she just showed up one day as just like and volunteered to be crew member, you know, grunt work, and worked her way up many years later to like captain of a ship for sailboat racing. That's how you do it, man. That is the way. People love helpful people, and knowledge is valuable. So if you don't got money, invest time, get knowledge.
Yes, it's all a resource. And if you have time to burn, like that is a valuable resource. Whether you're learning something with that time or you're volunteering that time to another team or something like that. You know, there's plenty of ways to get involved that don't necessarily cost you anything. So I can't stress it enough. If you want to be involved, there's lots of ways to do it. Okay. Some people just need to be around it, and that's a great way to do it. Another good one, which is cheap, especially depending on, it can get expensive, but is cheap if you do it correctly. And I forget about this, and we shouldn't, and I think we should do more of this.
What is it?
Camping.
Camping? Like at a racetrack?
Anywhere. Go camping. Go on an adventure with your damn car. Go drive to the middle of nowhere. Go to a cheapy KOA campground. You can stick a tent in anything, even your fucking BRZ, with a couple of sleeping bags. Go see something for cheap. like in the middle of nowhere, some
Yep.
state park in Guam, just go out to the middle of nowhere, go on an
Yep.
adventure, but go knowing you're not going to spend any money.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. The
You can even
this
camp,
reminds me of
depending on the
college
car
when you
you
don't have
have.
money.
Camp in your car.
Yep. BRZ camping should be a thing. It is a thing. There are people out there that post on YouTube like sleeping in the back of their BRZ, pulled down the seats, and was one guy in Japan that's got like a whole setup with like a little mini microwave and everything. So,
We're a little too tall for that, but
yeah, but
if you're
point
under
is,
6 foot, maybe you got a shot at it.
yeah, I tell you what, I like that Subaru leaned into the lifestyle because like their cars don't get 50 miles to the gallon like their competitors. So they got to do something to sell cars. And I think you can camp in it is a great way to do it.
But like if you can't do new and interesting things with your car and try to make the baddest thing on the planet or whatever, go on an adventure and make some memories with your car. Okay,
Yes,
go
road
do
trip.
stuff with your car instead of, like go see some shit. Okay, go have an adventure and have something to tell your grandkids.
Yep. I do want a cross trek just for that. Like I can just putter around, camp in the back, and be great. But I only got space for one car, so BRZ it is.
Tents are cheap. Okay, you should
Yep.
go to Walmart and get a tent. Sleeping bags are cheap. Like
Yep, I got a sleeping bag.
you could easily throw up a tent and go, crash in a KOA.
Yep.
So in the middle of
Yep.
nowhere, probably meet some interesting people, learn some new stuff. Who knows?
Yes. Oh, this reminds me. If you're going to camp, you don't even need to go to a KOA. If you go far enough west in the United States, you can camp on public land for free. Got a friend who did that all the way to Las Vegas and back.
There you go.
Never paid for camping.
There you go. Go camp on some public
Yep.
land.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Now we're going to talk about things you shouldn't do.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's
There's
do it.
two big ones. One of them is when you don't have the money to do it, but you decide to do it anyway and you start cutting corners. Okay. Most of the time it's
yeah.
just going cheap. Okay.
Hail as old as time.
And when if you can't do it correctly, I can't stress this enough, rethink how you're going about it. Maybe build something in stages. Okay, so let's say you can't afford the turbo kit and the crazy fuel system, whatever, but you did shit your engine, and now would be the right time to do it all. Maybe just fix the engine, stick your stock turbo and stuff back on it. Get a decent retune, get the car running and doing what it's supposed to, get your braking done on that, and then reset until you can do the larger turbo and everything else. Things of that nature. Do stuff in stages. You can do those if they're broke up in the right way.
Cutting corners is a good way to spend too much. That's for sure.
Well, what it ends up happening and what I see a lot of is and you see this, the harder times get, the more people get caught in fraud scams and stuff like that.
Ooh.
It just happens. Like it's a statistic that gas prices and things go up. Old people, unfortunately, start getting caught in email scams and things of that nature, or because they're more desperate. Okay.
Yeah.
But so as humans, we do this and we shouldn't, but we do. So what ends up happening is you start to see things online and believe it way more than you probably should. A lot of this happened back in 2008, where everybody started, instead of buying good parts, started buying eBay parts and just saying they were the good parts. We started seeing, it was insane. The amount of people, one of my favorites, and you saw it a lot in the Chicago area, were people buying cheap eBay intercoolers and then spray painting AMS on it.
Wow.
It was all over in the Evo community. It was crazy. But you started to see that all over the place. Or they would argue to death that this intercooler is better than that intercooler. Or it became this badge of honor that I made whatever this was for this price. Instead of it being good, it made 400 horsepower or 450 horsepower. But I did it with this eBay turbo, and what ends up happening is always bad in the end. You're gonna have a bad time. But the thing that I really can't stress enough right now is I'm seeing an uptick in this behavior of people believing that the RA block is some sort of magic bullet freaking block again. I'm
Oh,
getting an uptick in people thinking that there's forged pistons in it and thinking it's somehow stronger than the older block. Like the people who are like and I'm seeing more conversations about an RA block's good for 500 horsepower when it absolutely is not. Okay.
yeah.
If you're gonna rebuild something, and this is how I tell everybody. I tell everybody this who's looking at an RA block. If you're looking for just a stock replacement and maybe you're gonna turn around and sell this thing to CarMax, okay, an RA block is it. But if you're buying an RA block and then you're calling me for a set of like 550, 750, 950 heads to put on this RA block, that is a stock block. You are spending money on the heads to put on a stock block. What is wrong with you? And I get these calls all the time. Okay.
What do you tell them?
I'm as nice as I possibly can be, but I'm like, buddy, I need you to understand that is an OEM block. And a lot of times I don't want to mention any names, but it's the same guy from the West Coast that they always bring up and says how much horsepower he makes on these blocks. So it's going to be fine with whatever he's doing. And they always end up bad, and you're going to end up doing it twice. Okay. It's still a cast piston. It's still a shit bearing. And every day that goes by, Subaru cares less and less about how the quality control of the EJ block. They don't care.
Yes.
They're not making it anymore.
They don't make that car anymore.
Okay. So like I cannot stress it enough. The RA block ain't it. Okay.
Yeah.
Do it correctly, or you will do it twice. And believe me, when it shits at 500 horsepower with a stock, whatever you got going on, it's not just the block you're going to end up having to buy twice. It's all four of your cam gears, your oil pump, your oil cooler, like all your AVCS solenoids, all of that shit. All of it's getting rebought. It's not just the short block. It took everything out because you wanted to save $1,000, and I get it. $1,000 isn't easy to find, but if you gotta wait to do it right, do it right. Wait. It is worth it. Or again, going back to this, rethink what your actual goal is. This isn't me trying to like shoehorn motors down people's necks. That's not it. I hate the phone call of somebody calling me back and, us having to redo something because it wasn't good enough for what they were doing. And it's almost always RA blocks. I hate that call. I want that call that when I'm getting a call back, them going, hey man, I'm thinking about going to the track now. What do I need for that? Or I want to do suspension now, or let's do wheels, or I like positive phone calls, not we got to redo it. But even if they're like, man, I know you tried to talk me out of this, but this is, let's do it the right way now. That phone call still sucks. That sucks. I don't want that. In the shop you're talking to, the people you're talking to who are screaming at you, that ain't the answer. It's because it's not the answer. It's not the answer.
Yep. A lot of those people don't come back. They do it wrong, blow up their car, run out of money, and then don't come back. So Dewey tries to head that off so you can have your car and enjoy it for longer.
He's asking about what about the FA engine? The FA engine still has the same issues. The FA20, especially the WRX one, has really thin ass rods. It's got its own problems, okay? It's got some oiling issues. It's fine stock or maybe mild tuning, and it's good. But the second you go past that, you're on borrowed time, okay? You stick a good short block in it instead of another stock one, and you gain so much headroom and get rid of a lot of those issues. That's all I'm saying, okay? You can do it right once. And it will save you money. It is actually cheaper to do it correctly. I'm not saying go overboard. I'm not saying overbuild it. I'm saying just do it right.
Yep. Dewey's yelling, but I agree with him.
I
So
am yelling. This one just frustrates me because I feel like a lot of people have been taken for a ride for Instagram fame. There's a
far
lot
too
of
long,
people
man.
who have lost a lot of money due to bad advice on Instagram.
Yep,
Just saying.
totally agree. All right, what else
Instagram
you
lied
got?
to you. All right. The next one, dumb records. Okay, this happened really
Mm,
bad in '08, and I don't know why. Okay, I'm not going to mention any particular companies who were involved with a lot of this, but you start to see this a lot because people they don't want to do things the right way, but they still want to compete, and you start seeing people brag about these
micro
strange
records.
micro records. That's a good way of
Okay.
putting it. So like there was a big competition on what's the fastest you could go on a top mount intercooler.
Okay. Yeah.
Why?
Or on a stock
Your
6 speed.
your IETs are through the freaking roof. You're gonna shit an engine. This is gonna be expensive. What are you proving? The only person who cares about this is the other stupid ass who's trying to go fast on a top mount intercooler, and they probably care a whole lot less than you do.
Man.
Okay?
I want top
Or
mounts, but not
like
records.
just stupid shit. I made the most horsepower on ID 1050X's. Why?
I remember that. Yeah.
Why? Why? This is not something to brag about. Don't brag about that.
In this economy, don't go after micro records and push parts
No.
too far. I agree.
You're just don't push stupid shit. Because you're trying to get your e-fame in somehow because you can't afford to do it right. So you start making a micro record. One, micro records are stupid. And two, you're gonna break shit and it's gonna be more expensive. And you have proven nothing. You have proven nothing.
Mm.
Yeah, okay, you're
Man,
stock header. Yeah, right.
I forgot about the micro records. It's been a little while.
Oh man, micro records were massive after the financial crisis.
Mm.
They blew up. Everybody had something going on. It was so ridiculous. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. I was involved in some of these because I was
Oh,
going
I
after
remember.
the TDO4 record. Like, who
That's a
cares?
tiny turbo.
The thing is, I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a pass on this because it was a class, okay? It was a class of racing. And I
Yeah,
could afford
drag
to
racing. Yeah.
do this drag racing, this form of drag racing that we went fast on a stock TDO4, okay? But it was still dumb. It's a dumb record.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And now if it was just me going to the track all by myself trying to get that record, that'd be stupid. But I was going to, at the time, was a fairly large event,
Pretty
and there
large
were a
event,
bunch of
yeah.
people there in that class, and I wanted to win that class. But if like you're in literally the middle of nowhere and you're trying to set the fastest top mount intercooler time in Nebraska, like what are you proving? Don't do
Yeah.
dumb things. Micro records are ridiculous. Yeah,
Yep. All right.
I was going after the record was a 12.4 and I did I think a 12.6 with a very slippy clutch. So, we were there. We were getting there.
Yep. All right. What else you got?
That's it, man. That's the big don't
That's it.
do's.
All right. Do you have any arguments you want to start? Because I got a list that I sent you yesterday.
I mean, I don't know. You don't you have aren't you on a time limit?
I thought I did, but I don't. I got a little more time. Let's do it.
Well, I mean, I'm down to start an argument. I would be
Okay.
down to anybody in the chat. If you wanna throw up your do's or don'ts, I would love to hear it. You can absolutely run 11s on a VF, but it's dumb. I'm just being real. Like it's really, really hard on your engine because you are asking this little teeny hot side to ask this little teeny compressor to move a shitload of air, and nothing about it is happy.
Not efficient.
It is
Anywhere.
an absolute freaking flamethrower coming out of that turbo. And It's not good. Okay, like nobody
Yeah.
wins there.
It's like trying to swim while breathing through a tiny straw. Like, how fast can you go? It doesn't really matter. You shouldn't do it.
You know, I will tweak on what Paisan said, which is don't upgrade your motor without upgrading your brakes and suspension. It's more
Yes.
like build your build your car more balanced. Um
Yes.
and you're
Agree.
gonna appreciate it more. Uh or maybe if you can't afford this giant engine build, maybe you're on track and you're getting you feel that you're getting outpowered on the straight, right? And you can't really afford to add a ton of power. Maybe
Mhm.
we start looking in other places to find time. Like try to find things we can pull out of the car when we're at the track, or we
Yes.
try to go to a different brake setup so we can get the car to stop better, or we do different tires or a wheel tire combo, or maybe we have a conversation with some people who know more than us about suspension setups. There's
Yep.
lots of stuff you can do to find time that isn't necessarily power. Now, again,
Yep.
us being at IAG, power helps, okay, but like I also sell suspension and brakes and all this other stuff. So
Sure do.
there's other
They make
ways.
wheels.
There are other ways. You can also, I don't know, learn to drive. It helps.
Helps a lot.
Yep.
All right.
Um yeah, I don't know. What give me a topic we can argue on here.
Okay. So first one is it's not worth being mad about sideshows because a lot of auto enthusiasm is illegal. If you're just doing a donut in an intersection, it's probably fine. Could be a lot worse. This is a hot take.
Fuck off with that.
Okay. All right.
Straight up, uh some asshole just doing a donut in an intersection. If there's a bunch of other cars there and whatever, and you lose it and you crash into something and
Yeah.
break somebody's neck, I'm sorry. That's not the same
No,
thing as
that's
2 a.m. doing a donut in the middle of nowhere, in an industrial complex with nobody around, or anybody that is
yeah.
around. They know what they got themselves into. They're not just trying to go to Publix to pick up some eggs. Okay,
Yep.
like these aren't the same thing. And anybody who tries to defend a sideshow, you can fuck right off.
All right, I have fucked off. All right, so next topic, next argument. It is worth being mad about cutting the mustard, driving over the double yellow line on a twisty mountain road because you could kill innocent people and it makes the road less twisty. Probably
So
agree on this one.
I actually agree on this one too. Now what I don't agree with is this uptick in Karens hiding in bushes. And then
The canyon carver.
yeah, that guy is out of control. His
Yeah.
his rage is not misplaced,
Yeah.
especially towards some of the people he is yelling at. It's the guy, like the one I remember is it's this dude in like a GT3 leading a bunch of supercars through a mountain road.
Porsche. Yeah.
And the Porsche guy in the front is the dude actually leading this like rally, okay? And that dude is cutting in some really stupid spots and showing people the wrong way, okay? And he
Yep.
is not just little cutting, he is all the way over in a corner that honestly, because it started really low, even though it technically you should be able to see a little ways, like it was over like a crest, like there's no way he could see down that road. So
Yeah.
I that guy's so in the wrong. Okay. Now the Karen in the bush, like I don't agree with his tactics, but he wasn't wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
And the guy
Canyon Karen.
leading that should be showing these people behind him the right way. Now, the
Yep.
other part to this, and what you just said, is if you have a public road split in two, yellow line in the middle, no passing whatsoever, and you start cutting these corners, you are actually making the road less challenging and less twisty.
Yep.
And you're not learning things, and you aren't having as much fun. So like Tail of the Dragon's a very good example. The people who are blowing over the center line on Tail of the Dragon, I don't understand what you're doing. Okay.
Yep.
You're not proving anything. You're not a better driver. You're and you're taking the fun even away from yourself. Okay. Now, some of these people look at this as like a racetrack and you're supposed to go as fast as you can. And this is a part of driving. This isn't a racetrack. And you aren't really supposed to go as fast as you can. What you're trying to do is drive for the enjoyment of driving. That is where the disconnect is. There is a
Yeah.
difference between I'm driving because I enjoy driving, and maybe poking at the limits a little bit, but like you're flirting with it, but you're not like driving on the bleeding edge. And I am trying to set a time. Those are not the same thing.
Yep.
Driving for you can enjoy trying to set a time, okay? And you can have fun setting a time if you're driving to like those two things can work together, but they are not the same thing. And
Yep.
I don't what I don't want is a bunch of Karens hiding out in bushes yelling at anybody who's speeding on a back road, and that's where I'm afraid this is going to go. But
Slippery slope. Yeah.
but I Killboy is a good example at Tail the Dragon has been calling out people for years
Yes.
for cutting over the mustard. I was a victim of this way back when I was really stupid. And the first time I ever went to Tail of the Dragon, and I didn't understand the difference between driving enjoyment and trying to set a time. I didn't get
Yep.
this. And the people who are doing this don't understand that. If you're driving to set a time, go to a racetrack.
Yep.
Okay. Or it needs to be a controlled environment. There are hill climb events, things like that. Go do it at those. Autocross, stuff like that. If you're driving for enjoyment, that is different. Okay. Now, I didn't know that being young and stupid. Okay. And I was way over the mustard, and he got a blatantly grotesque picture of me. And Nasiak annihilated me. That is one of the things that brought me over from iClub to Nasiak was I had to go there and defend myself, which there wasn't much. And
Yes.
I got hate mail for years due to that. And I deserved it. It was stupid. Okay.
To be fair, Dewey still drives his car hard, but he's not
Absolutely.
out there trying to set a time because there are no trophies on the street.
No. Again, I have grown enough and I've been to Tail of the Dragon many, many times. I go at least once a year now. If you're cutting the mustard, I just look at it as cheating. Okay. Like
Yep.
there's people who we have like, let's call it mini competitions. It's not really a competition, but it's like, or it's a little bit of dick measuring. Okay. But there's no mustard cutting. None. Absolutely. And if you do, you get called out for it. And it rightfully so. So you can haul insane ass and have a great time and enjoy
Yeah.
driving without cutting the mustard. And again,
Yes.
just like you said, you were taking away from the experience by cutting the mustard.
Yep. Yeah,
So
Dewey has hauled insane ass. I've been there when he's done it multiple times
so what
without
what
cutting him.
Kylik says, I saw this 100% agree with the dude bitching about it. I agree with him bitching. His point
Yeah.
was correct. What I'm really worried about is that snowballs into something it isn't, because there are people who
Yeah.
are just sitting in bushes waiting for people to rev their engines or just drive down the
Yes.
back road. That's crazy.
Yes, we actually saw this. Well, I won't say where or who, but we saw this actually today. Somebody who does exactly that, sitting in bushes,
For
checking,
what? Like,
checking
come
everybody
on,
who's
man.
over the speed limit. Like,
Get
oh,
a
come on, man.
life. What are you
Yeah.
doing? I know exactly what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
grow
Man, we're
up.
bringing this full circle. Okay.
God.
Next, what's the next one on my list? Oh, the FA24 or the FA20, both of the FA engines in the WRX look weaker because there's no STI.
I agree with that.
Okay. Yeah.
I
FA24 is an
agree that
excellent motor.
The current WRX is looked at as weaker due to there not being an STI, is kind of what you're saying.
Yep.
I agree with
That's
it.
right.
I agree
Okay.
with it seems, and that's a shame because while the trans it's actually a much more robust setup. It's a better car in almost every
Mm,
way than the FA20 WRX that had an EJ25 STI variation of it, which was a drastically different vehicle.
right.
And
Different vehicle and different motor. Yeah.
yeah, but like the FA20 WRX I think got looked at a little differently. The FA24, the newer VB WRX, I think got looked at as weaker, and it shouldn't have. When the
Yep.
engine is great, they actually fixed a bunch of stuff on it.
Hmm.
The engine's great. The trans is basically the same, and you can still do the same STI swap stuff to it. Like you have all of these same things, but the engine is pretty much better in every way. So I don't I
Yep.
I agree with that, and that's not fair.
Next, this is not an argument, it's just a comment. I have seen more people online recommending 0W20 oil for street BRZs, and that warms my heart.
Nope.
He's flipping off the camera. Okay.
I think you
It's for
should.
street use.
I don't give a
Street.
shit. I'm gonna
Really?
I'm gonna keep saying it, and our engine guys here will keep saying it too.
Okay.
That engine should be running on a 530. Okay, and the only
Zero
reason
30, so
the
it
only
has less.
reason Subaru did what they did was for emissions.
030 is better than 530. It's got less wear on startup. It's got more viscosity range. Okay. Okay.
Or you just start your car and let it warm up like you should anyway.
Wear happens whether you let it warm up or not. It's because the oil is thick and it's pushing hard to get to places it needs to go.
If
High
you want to
pressure.
have this argument for winter use, I will agree with that. But I'm sorry, I just
You look at hot temperature viscosity on a 530 versus a 030, it's the same. But cold temperature viscosity, you
Sure.
have a better chance
You
of
know what?
getting the car.
I bet you put a 530 in that versus a 030, and I bet you, and I'm the hot take here. I bet
Okay.
you that 530 ends up lasting that if you had a controlled environment, the car with a 530 would still end up running more mileage.
I
Fight.
don't know. Tribology, the study of oil is very complicated.
It is.
Okay, next one. This one is also not an argument, and this one I promise is not an argument. Road and Track reviewed the 2024 BRZ TS, and then they reviewed the 2026 BRZ TS recently. They complained the engine doesn't have enough character, is the word they used. I don't agree with this.
I
The
do.
engine is super smooth, and it fixed the torque dip. Drama in character means flaws.
But I agree with this. Okay.
Okay.
I do agree with this, and understand both of those engines that you were comparing were those are both FA24s. Okay. So the FA20, it like that torque dip sucked. Okay. And it kind of gave it its own weird, like you had to work around something. I believe the FA20 didn't have any character either. One of the problems
Mm.
with the FA24 is it really doesn't have, especially in stock form, it doesn't make any interesting sounds. Okay.
Yeah.
There's the torque is basically table flat. It does everything you want it to do, but it does it with absolutely zero drama, but also zero pageantry.
Yes.
And
I agree
that
with that.
that is where you lose it. That's why people like are still drawn to Hondas and stuff, because you got to rev the absolute balls off of them, and it's exciting. I will say the BRZ, the FA24, without an exhaust or an intake or anything, lacks a little excitement. You stick just an intake on it, so you get just a little bit of real induction noise, not that fake speaker, but real induction noise. It adds a little bit of character to it, and it's worth so much more than whatever minor horsepower gain you might have got.
The car or Road and Track also said that the car doesn't have enough space. So between the motor without character and the lack of space, this is stupid. I think regular people are going to read that article and receive doubts for no reason.
No, that's absolutely what that is, and there's a couple of things have come from this. One, okay, we had a conversation about cafe standards and why Subaru and other companies can't build smaller cars right now. And two, stupid reviews like this for a bunch of us who are going, we want something smaller. We don't want everything to be the size of a goddamn Explorer. Okay?
Yeah,
We're
I can
over
fit
this shit.
unbelievable amounts of stuff in my car. It is not small.
I'm not trying to shit on the VB, but it is too fucking big. It
It's
is my
massive.
least favorite part of that car is the absolute sheer mass of that car. It is
Yeah.
huge. It is a giant vehicle, and that is my least favorite part about it is it is so damn big. Okay, the VA was even too big for me. Hey, I love nothing more than hop in my bug eye because that's the size the car should fucking be. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to be a big car. That's supposed to be a, small or like smaller mid-size car. That's not a full-size car. There's no way you can call a VB a mid-size car now. It's not.
No,
It's
it's
full.
massive.
It's huge.
It's huge. I will say, in defense of the VB, my cousin in Ohio recently graduated college and he bought his first car. He's not a car enthusiast yet. He did look at the WRX, but decided it was overpriced. He felt the car had a lot of performance and not much else. I felt the same way when I sat in it recently, and I'm okay with that
Did
because
he
that is a
look at
return to
it with the
form.
current pricing? Because they dropped 5 grand
Yeah,
off the top of it.
yeah, current pricing because he just bought the car, a car.
What and
Yeah,
he ended
but
up with a Civic, didn't he?
Civic Si, yes, much easier for regular people to buy.
If they don't know, I can understand it. But that's also like we had we me and two other guys back when the Focus RS came out. We all drove each other's car. I was driving the '05 STI at the time. We had Brad's Focus RS and we had
Right.
my buddy Andy's GTI. And in the end, because we all drove each other's car, and we're like, if an
Uh,
alien came down and looked at these cars, we would have such a hard time explaining why any of these other cars were better than that GTI.
oh yeah,
Because
yeah,
it was a nice car. It did everything nice. It felt nice. The stereo was good. It was comfortable. It had tons of space. It got great gas mileage. Like I was in like the 2% of the time where it became like a performance issue was when you were really pushing it. Okay. And even
yeah.
then, you could still have a really good time in it. It's just the other cars were better. All wheel drive, fancy diffs, yada, yada, yada.
My other friend that recently bought the Civic Si said absolutely no GTI because the steering feel was terrible.
Yeah. Well, probably newer ones are, but
Newer ones, yeah,
yeah, this was a few years ago. So
yeah, yeah. And that was a criticism of the GTI in recent years. So, yeah, that's about all I got, man. What else you got?
that's about
Party
it, man.
people.
Yeah,
That's it.
I think we did a thing. Anybody else got anything we want to argue about? I'm down. Throw us something we should talk about. I'm
Yeah.
ready to fight. I'm kind of pumped about going to Wicked Big Meat. It was really up in the air if I was
Nice.
going, and then it was even more up in
Okay.
the air if Boogie was going, and then both happened.
Nice.
So
Good.
I'm pumped we're
Good.
bringing Boogie. We got a new hood for Boogie.
I saw that. Congrats.
Very excited
Hell
about that. Yep. So Boogie's got a new hood. We got the steering wheel buttons working. That's pretty exciting. And last night I had my first coaching session with Scott Robertson. So I'm working on myself a little bit, and we looked at a bunch
Nice.
of data and video and came to
Goody.
some conclusions that I was doing some stupid things that I could definitely clean up. So I have homework I need to work on this weekend. Oh, and this weekend I have tires coming to go on
Nice.
my sweet Koenig wheels, and I'm putting
Sweet.
on some RCE T2s.
Ooh.
And so
Suspension.
I've got some goodies coming for the bug eye. And on the bug eye, I finally figured out why I can't go full throttle.
Okay. Why?
So it's drive by wire, and it kept seeing more than 100%, right? So I'd push the throttle
Right.
down and go. Now understand, this is a swapped '04 STI everything into a bug eye. Now, the drive-by cable mounting bracket is elevated off of the firewall, and it mounts to that, so the pedal sits where it's supposed to sit, right?
Okay.
So there is the drive-by wire bracket is also slightly elevated, but it's elevated at a different level. So I'm like, maybe it's the pedal. thankfully, I have Megan's car here. So I hop in Megan's car. I pull her pedal out because it's only 2 bolts and a plug. It's super easy. And then
Mhm.
go over to mine and I pull it out and I see that there are two screws or 2 bolts, I should say. There are 2 bolts that did not exist on her car. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, what the hell are those? This bracket looks the same, but there's 2 bolts that normally wouldn't be there kind of in the center, and it doesn't look like it interferes with anything. What happens if I pull these 2 bolts out? So I pull the 2 bolts out, and the bracket falls on the floor, and under it is the drive-by cable thing. What they did to swap this car is they hacked the bracket out of whatever this other STI is and bolted it to the drive-by cable thing. So it's actually sitting up higher than it should. So when I hit the gas, the floor is further away so it can
Oh
go
my
past
gosh.
100%. Because I'm like, I have
Wow.
everything in here that needs to be in here. Why is this not working? So iWire makes an adapter. So I ordered the iWire adapter. That should be here any day, and hopefully that takes care of it. If that doesn't
Nice.
take care of it, I'm going scorched effing earth, and I'm just going standalone. I'm done. Everybody's
Mm.
like, that seems a little excessive, but like, I can't really tune this ECU anyway to what I want to do with it. I want to add flex fuel and all sorts of crap. It's an '04
Mm.
ECU. I'm going to hook up a buddy of mine who desperately wants this ECU. Then I get to do all sorts of crap I want. I can put in a bunch of fail safes. I can run flex fuel. I can have all of my gauges run through one CAN gauge, which is going to be lovely. You know, I'm up in the air
Really
exactly what
nice.
ECU I'm gonna put in, but I've got a few options. I know my buddy Sam at Dialed In is working on some stuff, so
Yep.
maybe I try his new thing out. I don't know. We'll see. But it's getting an
Nice.
ECU because I'm done. Um,
Right. Nice.
yeah,
Problem solved.
maybe I don't know. We'll see. But I need to get this thing together because it needs to be a straight up toge monster for October.
October.
I want this thing on absolute murder death kill come October. I am hunting whatever that thing is. I think it's an M4. Yep.
M4.
Yeah, that's actually what you didn't get to meet him for very long last year. He was there for a little
Mm.
bit, but the guy the year before that was there in the C8 that I was up his ass with the BRZ. He brought his fast car this year, and then he was able to pretty much horsepower me, and I couldn't really do much about it. So
Okay.
I'm like, all right, well, I'm not gonna be able to make as much horsepower as him, but I'm gonna make like double of what I did. I'm gonna be on a better tire. I ordered up RE71 RZs.
Nice.
So scorched earth. And I'm in the BRZ was making maybe 200. After a small turbo upgrade, you know, I'm gonna be right around 4. You know, so I should have double the
Mint.
horsepower, not too much more weight, and I'm gonna literally shove this thing right up his ass.
Some people are into that. But yeah, are you gonna make it like the second coming of the Rusty Raccoon, like a tarmac rally spec with a lot of
Tarmac rally spec ish, but definitely
okay.
more towards tarmac and less towards rally. The Rusty Raccoon had a lot of advantages, but it also had some pretty serious disadvantages. I'd rather just put a slightly larger turbo on it and fatten up the power band instead of trying to
Yeah.
make a mountain of torque, which is what we did with the Raccoon.
Yeah.
Like the Raccoon
Yeah.
made 340 or 50 horsepower on ethanol, but made like 440 pound-feet of torque. Like I'm hoping
Big
for
torque.
like 400, you know, just stretched out real nice.
Yeah. Well, yep, I remember that. That was
That
a
car
great
was
car.
stupid fun.
So much fun.
Stupid fun.
I'm
It
glad I
would
got
have
it.
been great at
Glad
Tail
I
the
got to
Dragon.
drive it.
Would have been great at Tail the Dragon. But
Yep.
anytime you needed to like honestly, the thing fell on its face in fourth. Like you hit fourth gear, like it just
Eh,
didn't make enough top end. So like,
you're not going to beat fourth in the tail of the dragon, even on the short trans. So
oh yeah, you will. Oh yeah.
really,
Oh,
okay.
especially in the short gearing in the in you know the old style STI transmissions. Oh yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
Fifth,
Okay.
you won't be, but I will use the living shit out of fourth in a few spots.
In Tail of the Dragon. Wow, that's
Once
crazy.
you
Okay.
start to learn you kind of learn it in sections. There's a couple areas that you get boogieing. You know, you're gonna use
Hmm.
the crap out of third. Third's gonna be your baby, and now I'm gonna make enough torque to
Oh,
where
yeah.
I'm gonna live between second and third, but I can probably bog third and still be
The
exactly where I
third.
need to be.
Yeah. Massive torque power. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. I hope I can join for October. I do have my exam coming up, so we'll see. Got a lot going on
Yeah,
between then and now.
don't fuck yourself over. You know, I don't want you to
Don't.
stress out like you did last time, but
Yeah, I would.
if you can make it, you can make it.
Nothing to do with you guys, though.
I know, but if you can make it, that'd be awesome. I kind of want to like
Yep.
grow this October thing into something.
Okay.
So even if October turns into an early November or something like that, we'll come up with something.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Well,
Cool.
I think that's it, man. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. We'll see you guys. I think we'll be doing one next week. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. It's got a lot going on before Wicked Big Meet. A lot of stuff needs to happen, and we're prepping for Midwest Fest, which is going to be an absolute. All stops are being pulled to get a record, so it's going to be rowdy.
Nice. Good
Yep.
deal.
All right. Love you guys. Later.